Hello, my gorgeous Virgo family, and welcome to December 2020. This is a powerful month. I will just put that out there right now. Let's forget pretending that this is not a really big month of shift. Really different energy is on its way to join us here. And it's something that we have been working toward this entire year. All of 2020 in many ways has been known as a bridge year, one where we have been modulating and going back and forth between a few different energies. And here in December, we're starting to actually have these moments of click. Now, I feel like the moments of click started in November, so we have already been on this trajectory for a little while. But as we step into December, things really change quickly. The big news here this month is that Jupiter and Saturn are moving on into Aquarius, all within about the same day. The 17th and the 18th of the month, we're going to see those two planets joining forces and moving into Aquarius and doing a grand conjunction. And I'll be covering that conjunction in more detail over on Patreon if you're looking for deeper guidance about how to work with Aquarian energy. So that big shift is happening, and then we have the solstice. We also have a new moon in Sagittarius that's also a solar eclipse. And we finish off the year with a full moon in Cancer, and just a couple of days later, the Mars shift out of Aries. So December just has us really changing gears. Now, that doesn't have to be cataclysmic. That doesn't have to be something that's really overwhelming or awful. Don't think about December as like some kind of terrible homework assignment. And actually, Virgos, I love the message that came through for you, because the first word that came to mind for me as I felt through this energy is devotion. We start off the month in Sagittarius season with a new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius on the 14th. The first couple of weeks of this month are relatively quiet. We're kind of getting ourselves set up here, and we're building into that solar eclipse. And this is all fourth house energy. This is all about how you're nourishing yourself in the hidden and the unseen. To me, this is about paying homage to your household spirits, right? And to your internal spirits. The things that we do that nourish us from the hidden and the behind, which Virgo, you are very good at. So this is something that really asks you to do some deep healing on the moon side of yourself, and to really devote your energies to tending to your hearth. So the first half of this month, focus on that tending to the hearth. How can you make yourself feel really deep love, really deep nurturing, really deep mothering, and even almost a Venusian sense of joy, because that energy through Sagittarius is asking for that. We also have Chiron going direct in Aries on the 15th in your 8th house. So a time of transformation has been going on for many, many months for Virgos, of shedding a skin, coming to terms with any pain points, and now we're moving forward out of that. We also have Venus moving into Sagittarius this month as well. More of that devotional nourishment going on for you. Now, when we get into this shift, the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction into Aquarius and the solstice, along with Mercury moving into Capricorn, the Sun moving into Capricorn, right? All of this happening within a week. From the 14th to the 21st, that week's going to be heavy hitting. It's going to be just like if you were in a car and you were shifting gears, you know, all the way up to the fastest speed. That's kind of the way this week is playing out. Once we start getting into Capricorn season and we're starting to work with Aquarian energy, you're getting lit up when it comes to having a lot of energy in the physical, a lot of energy moving you through the rituals and routines that actually make huge progress in your life. So in many ways, December is a detail-oriented month. And you know, Virgo, how I love to, we love to have that conversation about letting go of the to-do list and letting go of the details and relaxing and maybe not being so mercurial, in that sense of wanting to have a tap on every single little detail you have to worry about. And it's interesting because this month we have these very nourishing energies wanting to come in and help you move through the world through detail, through nourishment, through focusing on ritual, through using your, your innate Virgo magical gifts, but doing it through a place of joy, right? Not just having to. And that's the other thing. The Jupiter and Saturn transits have been hitting your 5th house, a fellow earth sign of Capricorn, for a long time now. Asking you what really gives your heart joy, asking you what you really want to expand in this life, what you really want to create. And as they move out of that space and into the devotional space of the 6th house for you, into Aquarius, you're being asked to take those lessons of what you really want to be doing, who you really want to be, not just who you think you're supposed to be, not just who you think you're supposed to please, but who you really want to devote that energy and time to. This is going to be these transits are going to be ones of deep truth and deep trust in yourself. So that's going to continue, and we'll talk more and more about that as we head into 2021. But these are the shifts that are coming about. The pressure is being taken off of your heart chakra, and it's moving more into the holistic field of how you are applying your lessons to your life. Right? So how you're taking care of your body, how you're listening to your intuitive gut sense, how you're devoting your energy, where and what details are you devoting to? Are you devoting your energy to details that matter? So there's kind of a review going on here. At the end of the month, we have a full moon in Cancer in your 11th house. This is a very playful, loving energy, very nourishing. I love that we're ending the year on a Cancer full moon, because that is Mother Moon giving us some love after eclipse season. This month is transformational overall. Most of us are going to feel as though we are coming to a culmination. We are coming to a deeper understanding of what it is we have needed to learn. And even more than that, this month is going to ask, especially starting on the 14th without eclipse and forward. It's going to ask us to stop looking back over our shoulders so much, right? And it's going to ask us to be brave enough to just put most of our focus in the present moment and allowing ourselves to be open to what is next. I haven't even gotten to these cards yet. It's just, there's so much to cover in December. I don't even know where to begin, because it is a huge shift in energy. I think we've all kind of, to some extent, gotten used to the heavy-hitting Capricorn energy. We've gotten used to some of this more stolid, slow-moving energy, and to move into Aquarian energy, and to move with Chiron direct, and to move through Sagittarius season as well. These are all swift energies. They move swiftly, they move clearly. 2 of Pentacles. All right. And so it's just a very different energy. And I think with that, with Virgos, give yourself, like with that hearth care. Ooh. 4 cards just wanted to come out all in a row, and I love them. 4 of Cups, 8 of Cups, Ace of Wands, and the Hermit. Wow. Big old chunk of cards, just... That devotion to the hearth is what's going to actually amplify everything that wants to come for you next. So while some of you may be feeling like you need to be more on your game than ever, and you need to be extra prepared because there's this energy shift and it's going to be good and I want to make the best of it and I want to start 2021 right, actually leaning into like the devotional ritual of taking care of your hearth, taking care of your internal, taking care of your heart, taking care of that, and easing into it is going to speed up your process. It's going to make everything so much easier. And I know sometimes we want to fight that impulse. We want to fight that counterintuitive knowing that it's okay to maybe just pick your battles and like work on those little details, the little soft things, rather than forging forward. But that is really going to be your ace in your pocket. Is that the phrase? I don't even know. For December. So just keep that in mind. There are these electrical jolts. There are these big shifts. But for the most part, the way that I'm feeling through this energy, it is very enlivening. It's very exciting. As long as you are ready to be on a journey and on an adventure. This is very fun energy. Now, Two of Pentacles, very interesting. To me, this is like often speaks to people pleasing, right? Where we want to be everything to everyone all the time and we feel like we need to carry all the responsibilities. Therefore, we never really do anything. We're just constantly trying to keep these Two Pentacles moving around. And instead of feeling like nourished, we just feel like we're running, right? So right away here, remember how I said at the beginning of this month, the first couple of weeks of this month, do things that serve you. That doesn't mean you need to be like slashing other people. This has nothing to do with others. This is about you and your relationship to yourself. And if you don't feel like going to that gathering, if you don't feel like picking up that phone, if you don't have the energy, don't do it, right? Be really honest with yourself where you're juggling. That is what the Two of Pentacles often has us doing, is looking at that part of ourselves that feels like we have to be everything to everyone all the time. And when we put them down, we can actually see where our energy wants to go. So it's a great month to practice noticing. Now, here's the other thing. You are being invited. You are being invited into some new terrain. And I think as we move through the solar eclipse, and which will only be visible in South America and the southern tip of Africa, by the way. We move through the solar eclipse, we move through the Saturn-Jupiter shift and the solstice, and we're resetting, right? We're being asked to put down things we don't need to carry with us. It's been a traumatic year. You know, each of us has had, every single person I talk to, friends, family, people I run into, each has their battles, right? Like everybody, it's so unique. But it has been a very heavy year in so many ways. Even for those of us who have had joyful events or have felt moments of deep joy or gratitude, right? But there is a point here, and this is a reflective, introspective point where you're allowed to look at those things and say, wow, that was heavy, but you cannot carry them with you going forward. Along with these Two of Pentacles that you're juggling, right? Whatever you feel like you need to keep picking up, whether it's the Two of Pentacles or these 4 cups here that you're just focused on, or these 8 cups back here that you're still obsessed with, all 3 of these cards are saying you can't take any of this with you. It's not going to apply. It's not going to matter. Any of these battles and any of these places where you feel like you have to keep going over and over and over again. Sometimes I find it interesting, not all the time, you know, but sometimes when we feel like we need to do a lot of work on ourselves, we need to really process a trauma. And like I said, this really depends, and, you know, talk to your own mental health professionals and the people close to you who know you. But sometimes we get locked into feeling like we have to go over it a million times before we're allowed to take a breath and give ourselves some grace and move on, right? Like we keep replaying that uncomfortable conversation in our head, or we keep replaying, you know, how we wish we had gotten more done in 2020 over and over in our head. Those things can't come with us. They're not going to serve us in 2021. Aquarian energy has no interest in that. Here's the thing, you all. Big party invitation, Ace of Wands and the Hermit. The Hermit is the Virgo card. And the thing is, oftentimes, you know, we see the Hermit, people are like, oh great, it's about staying home, being low key, and not getting out there and doing stuff. But here's the thing with the Hermit. Here's the secret energy of Virgo too that isn't talked about enough. Virgo is about wholeness, right? Completeness. Like, you're not needing external validation. You're not needing somebody else to make you whole. You have like that divine alchemy. That's Virgo is very tied to divine alchemy and the way that we create a whole within ourselves, right? That's the magic of like the goddess and the complete picture. And even the term virgin has to do with being whole, right? And not in like that skeezy way that sometimes comes up in our culture, but it's a deeper, more ancient word concept, right? This is so good, Virgo. I love this so much. You have what you need. You have what you need. You may be looking for all these fancy other things. Maybe you think you need this other ingredient or this other time or this other thing, and then you'll get what you want, or then you'll be prepared for the year, or then you'll be allowed to move forward. It's already here. It's already in you. Like, this is what I would say for the second half of the month, you know, as we move through this really big transformational energy, and every day is going to be kind of a different work, a different experience. It's really a really big month of shift. We are really shifting gears hugely here. How it feels to connect with existing is going to be shifting. The more that you take a moment and pause and just notice what you have within you, write down those things you have, whether it's courage, a skill set you have like Excel or something, your curiosity, I don't know, you write a list of the things you already have with you now. Take a moment to honor those, and take a moment to honor everything you have gained this year as far as wisdom, because I guarantee you, think about yourself last December, right? And the things you would have thought were hard in December, the things you may have found yourself complaining about or frustrated about or intimidated by. And look at yourself today. And if those same things, if you think about doing those same things and conquering those same experiences, you'd be like, oh yeah, I know how to do that. And it's important to remember that you have everything you need, because you don't have to carry all this other noise with you. You're allowed to move forward. You're allowed to move forward with grace. You're allowed to move forward in the little details and tiny adjustments every day. I'm really huge on that right now, that we don't need to revolutionize our lives by like turning everything over and burning everything down or doing a gigantic to-do list. If you just make incremental adjustments and changes and attempts, and you do little bits of work, that is where the revolution is. That's where the evolution is. And that's what's being asked of you this month as well. And by the end of the month, and by the new year, and by that full moon in Cancer, there is a light that is being lit here that lights your path so clearly, Virgo. So clearly. I can just see it and feel it. There is a knowing that rises up in you throughout the course of this month that will be so bright and so vibrant and so clear. You won't be able to mistake it. It's not going to be confusing, right? Our true path is never confusing. We always know, right? It's very crisp and clear. I have some affirmations for the solstice, for eclipse season, for this shift into Jupiter and Saturn that I'm giving to you here. I feel clear, and I focus on what feeds my soul. I take the time to nurture and nourish myself in the small rituals. I am not in a rush, and that ease allows processes to move crisply and easily. If I am willing to show up, I will always receive guidance. I love that one. Sometimes we don't even let ourselves show up to the conversation with the universe, with the divine, because we just feel tired, or we feel like there's no way there will be guidance there. But if we decide to show up to that table of conversation, something is always offered to us. And often that something is really valuable and quite useful. Like I said, we are going to be really navigating these big energies over on Patreon. So I'm going to be doing there's going to be some exercises, there's going to be worksheets, there's going to be themes, there's going to be discussions around this big shift for Jupiter and Saturn into Aquarius, as well as for eclipse season and for just week by week, play by play, and a setup for the new year. We're going to do all of those beautiful things over there. I would love to see you there. We have such an awesome time. And for those of you who are with me already there, I love you so much, and I love our community. And I love everybody here too. Don't get me wrong. I love you all so much. I will see you for the New Year readings, and of course for our moon magics. And you can find me on Instagram and on my website, as well as Patreon. And you can find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry. I'm wearing her tourmaline here on her Etsy shop, so I'll leave her link below as well. Have a beautiful December, my loves. You are my family, you are my heart. I'm a Virgo moon, so I'll be riding this energy right there with you. And I will see you very, very, very soon.